All right, let's talk about something every single team needs, but honestly, very few actually have. A fire alarm. Now, not for real fire, but for those little smoldering issues that can, burn an entire project to the ground if you're not careful. We're going to look at how to turn that potential chaos into a really calm, controlled process. So, how do those tiny little issues, the ones, turn into massive project killing problems? I mean, think about it. The last time a project went completely off the rails, right? Afterwards, it's always so obvious. You can see the whole chain of events. A tiny hiccup here, a little crack there, and then boom, the whole thing is on fire. The real question isn't just what happened, it's how. How did we get from a small spark to a full-blown inferno? And here's the thing, it's usually not because people don't care. That's the big misconception. Most of the time, your team wants to do the right thing. The real problem, it's the process, or, the lack of one. When nobody knows who to tell or when it's okay to speak up, that's where everything falls apart. It's that classic bystander effect, right? Everyone just kind of assumes someone else is going to handle it. And that lack of a clear path? Well, that's what creates this dangerous domino effect. A tiny, unreported bug, that's the first domino. It tips over, hits the missed deadline domino, which then topples the unhappy client domino. And before you know it, the whole business is feeling it. The trick, the real key, is to stop that very first domino from even wobbling. So what's the solution? It is not some 100-page manual that's just going to collect dust. Nope. It's a clear, simple issue escalation protocol. And look, this isn't about adding more bureaucracy. It's the exact opposite. It's about building an early warning system for your team. It's a tool that gives every single person permission and the confidence to pull that alarm cord the second they smell smoke. Okay, so we're building a fire alarm. But a fire alarm is totally useless if nobody knows what smoke smells like, right? So step one is all about this, turning your team into expert signal spotters. We have to get really clear and define, what does the very beginning of trouble actually look like for you guys in your day-to-day work? And these signals can be super subtle, like a client who suddenly goes completely radio silent. That's a big red flag. Or a key feature that's just acting a little bit wonky. That could be the tip of a much bigger iceberg. The point here isn't to create some exhaustive, perfect list. It's for you and your team to sit down and agree on your own specific something feels off moments. So what are they for your projects? Really think about that. All right, so let's say a team member spots one of those signals. Awesome. That's a great start. But honestly, that's only half the battle. Because if they see something but have no idea who to tell, that warning just disappears into thin air. It's useless. So the next absolutely critical step is creating those super clear, can't-miss-it pathways for that information to travel. And the solution here can be ridiculously simple. I'm talking about a basic chart, just like this one. What this does is it completely removes the guesswork, that analysis paralysis we all get. No more wondering, who do I tell? Or should this be an email, a Slack message? The path is already laid out. It makes the right action the easiest action. And that's not just about speed. It's about removing every little bit of friction that might stop someone from speaking up in the first place. Of course, not every single issue is a drop everything right now kind of emergency. So a really vital part of your protocol is defining the difference. What's a standard issue versus an urgent all-hands-on-deck escalation? You need clear criteria, like, does this thing block the entire team? Is there a security risk? Is it directly hitting the bottom line? If the answer is yes to any of those, well, that's when it's time to pull the big red lever. This kind of clarity is what prevents alarm fatigue and makes sure the truly critical stuff gets the attention it needs fast. Okay, let's recap. We know what to look for, we know who to tell, and we know when to sound the alarm. So what's the last piece of the puzzle? Well, it's making sure that when someone does raise an alert, it's actually, helpful. A message that just says, hey, the server is broken, that just sends everyone into a panic. It doesn't help anyone actually solve the problem. And this is where a super simple template is an absolute game changer. Just 4 things. That's it. First, a quick summary. 1 sentence so everyone gets it immediately. Second, the impact. Who or what is this affecting right now? That makes the priority crystal clear. Third, and this one is so important, what you've already tried. This saves so much time and respects the person who has to fix it. And finally, number 4, the evidence. We're talking screenshots, logs, links, anything that helps the solver jump straight into fixing the issue instead of just investigating it. So let's put this all together. Once you've defined these simple pieces, the signals, the pathways, the message, what does done actually look like? What's the end result? What have you built for your team? See, what you've built isn't just a process on a document somewhere. It's a culture of resilience. It means every single person on the team is an empowered part of the early warning system. The path to getting help is totally clear, so there are no delays. And the best part? When a real emergency does hit, there's no panic. There's just a plan. And that is the foundation of a truly high-performing team. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. For your team right now, when someone gets that sinking feeling in their stomach that something is off, is there a clear, immediate, and totally stress-free path for them to get to a confident, "We're on it"? If the answer is no, or even if it's just, "I'm not really sure," then maybe it's time to start building your fire alarm.